What's up, fam? Welcome to this week's episode of Off the Reservation, a show that was foretold in ancient scrolls found due to global warming in an ocean, maybe even the Indian Ocean. Oh. I'm your number one wizard, Mal.
I'm L.
The son of Picasso.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'm doing good. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Moving along, we I think we had a good Wednesday, good Thursday.
We hope you guys are doing well. We really appreciate your support, and we're chugging along here. One thing I did notice though this week, did you guys see? All right, full disclosure, I saw an ad pop up on what was it? Instagram, right?
Instagram, yeah.
And it was from the Kate Spade New York company. For those of you who don't know, Kate Spade is no longer with us, but her company continues on. She's a fashion designer.
Kate Spade New York.
Yeah, Kate Spade New York is the company, right?
Yeah. So actually, where I heard the whole controversial thing occurred, I heard it from one of my friends who's a Native American in the fashion community.
Oh, okay.
And she had shared it on her timeline.
Oh, so they saw it too?
Yeah. And so it was this whole controversial thing about a skirt released with the spring 2023 collection for Kate Spade New York. One of the things the thing that is the controversial point is a skirt that they have released in the line. And as far as the skirt, it's being called the Sunday Stripe Organza midi skirt. And if we pull up the picture.
Here's that picture of that skirt now. This is so like going back to what would be considered, I guess, controversial. Is that it's categorized or described itself as a ribbon skirt, correct?
Oh no, it's not even described.
Oh,
it's
it's a
striped skirt.
Striped skirt.
So the problem is a lot of the Native American community who are fashionable people, they see it and they were able to make the leap that it looks like a ribbon skirt. And if you look at like a ribbon skirts are, considered traditional female Native American clothing, usually like a broadcloth with like satin ribbon
with some streams of ribbon in there, stitched across the bottom, right? In any fashion.
Yeah, but usually it's like a color blocking. Which if you look at this skirt from the back, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, hey, yeah, what the heck is this? I looked at it and then I actually took some more time to look at it. You can see it, and eventually if you look in further, go to their website, check it out from the front. It looks totally different. But, to me, instead of a ribbon skirt, it actually to me looked like maybe something you would find in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like all you need is some lace, some ruffles, and then maybe you'd have like a traditional skirt from Mexico of the sort.
Yeah.
But a lot of Native Americans were really upset about this.
Yeah. Some people started getting in the comments, and the thing that was kind of alarming to me was they were calling out Kate Spade.
Oh my god.
And it's like, y'all, Kate Spade is no longer with us. She passed
her
away.
out by name.
Yeah, it's like this person isn't even here for you to hear this.
Which if you think about it, I mean, the reality is when you're calling somebody out for cultural appropriation, essentially you're calling them out as being a racist, that they're synonymous nowadays. And, not a whole lot of people want to be labeled in the racist column. That's not cool.
Yeah.
And so you have, was it Mike calling them out and saying
people calling culture vulture, colonizers. Clearly her creativity has limits. She's now stealing from Native designers. And it's look, okay, I get that there's things that we have had stolen from us, obviously, there's
headdresses.
there's no doubt that there's things that have been stolen from us, but You know, like, are the similarities really there? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm feeling. You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, is there really that much similarities that we like have to be upset about this? And especially, it's like, y'all, just make sure you know who the right people you're calling out. Like Kate, you can't call out Kate Spade because she's not here anymore. You know?
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's like her design team.
It's her design team. It's her company is carrying.
And, you know,
on.
for all we know, it could have been a native designer in there that, like, when they were like, "Hey, come up with something," and they were inspired by this. I don't know. I'm the first to call out like colonization, and the first to call out, you know, appropriation. And I don't see it here. Like, I don't see it.
Yeah, and I guess I can understand like people being upset, you know, but
ultimately, if you look at it like in the same realm, if you look at any of the rest of their line, their spring line, stripes are a big part of their line. It's a big part of their what they're pushing in.
Yeah.
And this color scheme in itself is exemplified in a few other like dresses, skirts, shirts, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time as like, yes, if you want to see it, you're gonna see a ribbon skirt.
Yeah.
But if you actually take some time to look into it, I mean, what they're charging $328.
Yeah, that was the thing that cracked me up. I was like, $320. This thing doesn't even look that great.
Yeah, like,
I mean, let's just be real here. Like, for real, it doesn't look like anything I would pay more than, I don't know, $20 for. You know what I'm saying? It just
like,
looks kind of cheesy, and I don't know. I just think it's kind of a cheap looking design, but
even with the inflation of nowadays with clothing,
yeah,
like, you could probably find something similar to this at Target. For
that
like
it gets the same effect, you know what I mean? It's not like it's high fashion, I don't feel, but I'm not the fashion person here, you know what I mean? Like, Son of Picasso, like, what are your thoughts on just the overall look of this thing? Like,
all right, well, first off, just I don't know. It's pretty ugly. You know what I mean? I'm not about ribbon skirts in general. I think we as native fashion designers have more to offer than just a simple, you know, ribbon skirt.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my own personal thoughts. I guess the other thing is I also think, like, of course we're going to see Euro-American culture rip off native culture, black culture, etc., because we're cool, right? Like, what culture do they have? They came here and they lost their culture to buy into America, right? Like, they got the stars and stripes. Like, that's what you see, like, Euro-Americans wearing.
But even
like,
that's reminiscent of the British flag. You know what I mean?
And
like,
so it's like, can you be mad that they rip us off? Like, it's at a certain point with what they're wearing, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm over it. I'm over it.
yeah, like what is there to be upset about?
Like, let's talk about water rights. Let's talk about oil.
Yeah,
Let's
like, there's
talk
more
about
important
minerals.
things, right? Yeah.
Like, just the $300 dress isn't worth getting into it about. But
well, and then so, like, all right, so that was one thing that popped up, but then, like, Mal, you brought up a second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So like, one of the big things that I saw about this is a lot of natives were upset. They're like, you know, I'm a native Native American designer. I myself design ribbon skirts, and I'm like, well, dude, if they're selling, you know, this cheap looking thing like for like $328, why aren't you selling your stuff for more? Because it's being produced specifically from your hands. Like,
see, but here's the thing though, like, it's all about marketplace, right?
Yeah.
So, like, these natives are making this skirt and they're going to, like, powwows to sell it, right?
They're
like,
selling to other natives.
Like, you can't go to a powwow and, like, swing a dead cat without seeing a ribbon skirt for sale, right? And so, but I mean, rightly so, like, that's where they're being bought and sold and worn to.
Yeah.
Now, that's why they're not charging $300, because what native has $300 to go throw at?
Yeah, who's gonna pay it?
Yeah, and not even that. Like, I would feel bad charging a native $300 for a ribbon skirt, right? Like, it's literally fabric and cut. And so, like, it probably, I mean, not to knock it, but you should be if that's your garb, you should be knocking those out like 20 in a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're relying on pattern here. Like, it's not really, there's not a lot of labor put into it, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, not to like knock people that do it, but you know, like it's just.
And so that's why so the white ladies in New York are like shopping on Fifth Avenue, and that's where they're gonna buy it. Kate Spade New York, right? They're on Fifth Avenue shopping.
Yeah.
And they got the 300 plus to go in there and.
Which I think didn't we have a skirt that we wanted to like show like in contrast about this, because I thought we had like this is, you know, okay, I'm gonna wear it out, you know, that's nice, but I think we had like one that I thought was personally really beautiful. That
wait, hold on, it's not in here. Hold on,
we gotta switch over.
Yep. Wait, hold on. I got it.
But yeah, we got other designers out there. I found one.
Stripes. You can't say stripes are like cultural. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. It's like at some point, like we got that design from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like and like to trace its origins all the way back to its beginnings is nearly impossible. So who are we to have claim over something as like simple as like putting stripes on clothing?
The materials aren't native to our people, right?
Yeah, that's what you were saying, Mal.
Like all the trade cloth, you think about that. Like it's because of the overhunting of the buffalo and yada yada. We don't really need to get into the origin story of it.
Yeah,
but it's more of, you know,
I mean, you got silk ribbons.
Yeah, and so like these are like a couple examples of like what like, you know, more traditional looking ribbon skirt. You know, this is Deb Holland.
See, but even that idea is a contemporary idea, right? Like it's a contemporary design.
Yeah.
That's changed over time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, so then it brought us up to the other question, and that was a question of,
can people of color?
Well, no, it was bringing up the other situation.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
Okay, because we had the situation with a what was it,
So basically, what happened is around the same time, I believe Sam McKnight, he was doing I think it was for
Balmain.
Balmain.
Uh-huh.
So the controversy is over what he dubbed as the Balmain Vertibow. And he had done it for a fashion show that had recently gone through, had recently happened. And people were praising him for doing this new type of hairstyle, that it was really big and really fancy. Everyone loved it. And he had said that he was inspired by Balmain of the 50s and 60s. Finding the thing, he said it was subverted into the next century, vertical bow, hair bow finished with a black elastic for a sporty utilitarian feel.
Yeah, and this is that look right here. This is the one that he says he created here.
Yeah,
and
high fashion elastic hair tie.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Right.
But I mean, like, if you look at it, so what the big controversy was, and a lot of Native Americans were upset about it, was the fact that it is completely reminiscent of a Navajo siete, or the hair bow of the Hopi, the Pueblo, those people. And so, there it is. Yeah, that's that style that we've, as you know, Navajo people have been using. Yeah. And it's a hair wrap. You got the wool. I mean, we're not so big as to use an elastic rubber band to hold our hair together, but I mean, you know, like you look at this and you see it and you're like,
and, I see the resemblance. You know what I mean? Like it's.
So the funny thing that I thought was hilarious is because I actually saw the video. I think they had posted the video somewhere of him creating this hairstyle, and he's like standing there. He's got his, you know, the traditional like hairspray, his combs and everything, and then he's got like 3 other assistants helping him to fold the hair and to like grease it down and to comb it while he's like
it's a whole process.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, like, Grandma's been doing that to all her grandkids and her kids for like hundreds of years, just doing it by herself. Yeah. And usually it's the same effect. It's the same effect.
It's the same hairstyle.
Same effect. Yeah. Everything. You just getting hit a little bit more than usual, you know?
Yeah, getting tugged around a little bit more than you would like.
But as far as like Sam McKnight, he's been doing hair for quite a long time, and where he had actually gotten a little bit of his startup, or like where he became notarized, was when he was doing he had been Princess Diana's hairstylist for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
And so
she was the people's princess, they say.
Yeah, the people's princess. But yeah, and so like where he got famous was he had done her hair on the Vogue magazine.
I'd
in,
like to
20s.
pretend that I know what like that looks like, but I have no interest in care.
Yeah,
you know. But that being said, he has an extensive like history, I guess, of hairstyles, and he's hairstyled famous people. And that being said, like he has a lot of notoriety with him in that, like in those circles, right? Like, I mean,
and in which he could have like maybe like using his ability, his credentials, he could have done a little bit more research or whatever, and then brought notoriety to the Navajos, to the Pueblos.
So what have been people's reactions to it? What have been the have we had a lot of people reacting to like, hey, like,
yeah, I see this blue chipper here says, sorry, but I never want you touching my hair. This is wrong. This is cringe. This is appropriation.
Yeah.
And this is clearly shows ignorance. Do better. God.
And so
do better,
man. You can't trip out about long hair. Like long hair has been like all over the planet. Like women have had long hair, men have had long hair since time memoriam. So it's just, there's only so many ways to wear it, right? Like I wake up in the morning, there's only so many ways I can put my hair.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many ways you can style it before you start cutting it off. Like it's I'm over it. Like I said, there's so many other things to get mad about and to be up in arms about, like fashion, and especially the idea of fashion, right? All rules are off in fashion. Like, like one of the biggest rules in fashion is like good. I forgot how it actually goes, but they talk about like how like good fashion designers just outright steal.
Yeah.
You steal your design and you take it and you make it as cheap as you possibly can to undercut the person. So like, let's talk about the real thing here. The real thing is capitalism and how capitalism is destroying native culture.
And I think that's what the conversation is like whereas he's using it to further his brand, his name, his title and everything. The thing is that like if you look online, look on YouTube, there's a lady, she goes by the Navajo grandmother, and she actually teaches how to make the hairstyle. So if you know Sam McKnight wanted to, he could have found out how to do it better from the Navajo grandmother. But at the same time, as she's teaching how to do the hairstyle, how to do the siet, she's teaching like, what does it mean? Why do we have this? You know, the fact that the hair is representation of your knowledge, of your years.
That's something we like, that should be in the conversation. It shouldn't just be as simple as you're stealing this. It's
that's where capitalism literally takes something pure, like the cultural aspects of doing your hair, and perverts it and makes it into something that is on runway ready, right? And it's like, at what point are we just gonna say this is how it is? You know?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, all right. So like one of the biggest things though is that like no credit was given. Like he never acknowledged that he had seen this before or even that it existed. And look, it's very possible he didn't, you know?
Yeah.
But after so many people have brought it up, you'd think that they would be like, oh, you know, I mean, PR people would probably be like, no, you can't go back on this. You just gotta, you know, we're not gonna even address this, you know, and which is like kind of seems like that's how most of these situations are handled when native peoples become upset and start like making those comments and trying to like bring attention to something like this. The company itself never really acknowledges it, you know, but like at a certain point, it's almost like, why are we upset? Are we upset because they're making money off of it? Or are we upset because they're disgracing our like culture, you know, and our traditions, you know?
And then I have to say, as someone who creates something, who's doing this kind of a thing, creating out of fashion, what is the responsibility of that person? Because if you think about it, I mean, he's calling it the Balmain Vertibow, and he's saying that he was inspired by Balmain from the 50s and 60s. Well, then does he have to go back even further, all the way back until he, who was Balmain inspired by? Where did Balmain get it? And then that person and that person, all the way back until they're like, oh, it was inspired by the Navajos. I mean, what are we going to say is the responsibility of somebody who creates something?
And I think in response to that question is like what you said. It's like when you're in fashion, like, I don't know, like when you're in fashion, is that maybe there aren't rules, you know what I mean? Like it's, you get hit with inspiration, you do it, and I don't know. Like you said, I just feel like there are probably more important things that people should be getting upset about. You know what I mean? But like, so this brought us up to a question too, like as people of color, like, are we able to culturally appropriate other cultures? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of like the Beyonce, like wearing an Indian dress, like an Indian sari, you know what I mean? Like she was dressed in a traditional Indian outfit. Or I guess even Nicki Minaj went on SNL, and she has a song called Chun Li, I think is what it's called.
Oh yeah.
And she was dressed in like a traditional,
well, that was based off of the Street Fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Street Fighter. But I mean, like, where did they base that
like,
off?
she was wearing the dress, and then like Kylie and Kendall, whatever their name is, those Kardashians, like they had like a Chola t-shirt. Did you guys ever see that?
No.
Where they did like the plaid shirt with the button on the top, and it was an outfit, and they were selling it. Well, and it was like, okay, so like at a certain point, like do we get upset? When
and that's actually, so my wife had when I brought this up to my wife was like, well, what about the Chola movement, like the whole like putting the eyeliner around the lips to do that kind of a thing. And she was saying like so many people are getting upset about that because those of us that like actually grew up in that era, got made fun of and had to live through like, being put down for those kinds of things.
You didn't earn the privilege.
Yeah, and it's that idea of like the new generation is recycling our trends, our fashions. Yeah. And therefore, they don't know the struggle, they didn't have to put through the struggle through doing all those things. And like what do we want out of that? That's the big question.
Do you guys feel like, that's a good point. Like, do you guys feel like this is just a progression of how things work? Like people find something old that they thought that looked cool and might not know the history of it, but then like eventually create and make a new spin on it, and then that becomes a new thing. Right? Like when we talk about things being cyclical, coming back, fashions coming back, like 80s came back, and then all of a sudden like new 80s inspired type clothing came out. Like, is that going to be its own thing now from 20 years from now? I'll be like, oh, remember back in, the late 2000s when they started making like,
being in the fashion world, to answer your question, being in the fashion world, it's different, right? Because there's mainstream fashion, that's like fast fashion, that you go to like H&M and like everybody's doing this particular color or this particular style or this particular cut, right?
Or like the acid wash coming
and like
back.
it's just mainstream, so everybody consumes it, from Walmart to Target to JCPenney, right? Well, you have kids that consume that, right? And then you have like the cool kids that are completely against the industry of cool, that want to wear the thrift store items, that want to wear items that make them their own personal thing, right? Yeah. So those kids now are ruling the fashion world, and mainstream fashion is just like scratching their head. Like it's doesn't make any sense for me to do one-of-one items. I have to do mass items. So
well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, Walmart's gonna pull their inspiration from the people who started. Yeah, and those are the cool kids.
That's the thing, is those kids are outweighing the monopoly of fashion, right?
The mainstream, yeah.
And that really, I saw that really come about in Japanese culture, right? Like the Japanese kids, like they really buy in to who they are. Like we would almost think of it and be like, oh, like these people are wearing Halloween costumes, but there's Japanese cholos. Like like they have car clubs, and they literally they live what they dress, right? Like it's not just
They've taken on the lifestyle.
Yeah, and they really buy into it. And it's not just like the Chicano community. Like they buy into the greaser culture. Like they buy into samurai culture. Like and it's okay. It's a part of their culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an homage to the beauty of their cultures. It's they aren't a part of cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
And I think that's where fashion is headed towards.
So as Native people, do you think we need to have that viewpoint on it?
When it comes to fashion, yeah.
When it comes to fashion, yeah.
Because it like fashion is fast, right?
Yeah.
Now when it comes to Native arts, right, that's different, right? Because now you're talking about an artisan who is making these things by hand, right? Like, and you want to, like, some people want to argue and be like, well, I made these by hand. I made these ribbon dresses by hand, right? And I'm like, yeah, but the industry is making these by robot. You know what I mean?
By sweatshop.
And like, let's be honest, like it's a fine line. It is a fine line. And I don't think there's any definite like line there, you know. But
it's a big gray area.
It is. It is kind of a gray area, you know. But it's like, and as people who, as the Native people, I think it kind of just brings us back to this point of like, look, let's choose our battles. What do we want to get upset about here?
Yeah,
you know.
Well, just like we talked about last time, the forest protectors in Georgia, you know, where was the outcry? Where's the
why aren't we blowing up that on our social media?
Like, let's get mad about
you know,
education, like
the
education
acorn flats
right
in Arizona.
Yeah, and like so, like I guess if there's anything we'd like want to share and just like as a takeaway is just like. Let's reevaluate our convictions. Let's reevaluate what it is that we want to see changed, and that's what we should pursue. I don't think taking down Kate Spade, who is
it's
already
not going to hurt
deceased.
Kate Spade.
Yeah, like she's already deceased. Like I don't think we need to attack her. Like she's already gone. You know what I mean? Like.
Or yes. I mean the company, like canceling the company isn't going to hurt the company because they're just going to keep going. They're a company.
Yeah, they'll pull that skirt from the line, and they got a million other designs that they've already have lined up. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
No, it's real though.
They've already made the $328.
Yeah. So, like let's. As in the words of who is that one person on Instagram? Do better. It's just better. We can do better too. Like we can do better too, y'all. All right. I think we've done it. I think we've hit the point. We gotta
cut them some slack. Yeah, because we cool, and they gotta have somebody to copy. Like,
that's true. Yeah. No, you made that. That's a good point. Like, hey, man, if they're.
And speaking of fashion, we're going to be working on releasing some shirts here soon.
Yeah.
We're working. Oh, here's another design.
Here's a second design. What does that say? A show completely written by a team of 6 coyotes. That's right. A band of coyotes writes our show. If you guys have listened to that podcast, you know that's one of our intros. But we're working on some more designs, and we're excited to
be releasing that. Yeah. And remember to follow us on TikTok. That's been blowing up.
Yeah. So maybe we should make some ribbon skirts.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys have a great week. We will see you next time.
Ribbon kilts.
Ribbon kilts. I'm down. There actually is a company that does kilts, and they do them in many different colors. It's pretty cool.
Kilt of many colors?
Yeah.
That was my favorite Bible story. The Kilt of Many Colors by Father O'Flannery.